Since April's almost over now, let's look at the biggest movies releasing in May. Releasing on the 3rd of May, we have The Fall Guy. What got my attention on this movie is that the director is David Leitch, who made Atomic Blonde, Bullet Train, or co-directed the first John Wick. And Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling are the main actors in this movie, which, Ryan Gosling, he always makes me laugh. Also, the movie's actually a remake to an action-adventure series which had the same name and was made between 1981 and 1986. People have already seen The Fall Guy, and the first reviews were very positive for the most part, and it seems like the ratings are very similar to Bullet Train, which I think is a good sign. The only thing which may be a problem for this movie is that it's PG-13, which Bullet Train wasn't, but from the trailer alone, I kind of liked the vibe in there, so I'm looking forward to this one. Now, on the 10th of May, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is releasing, and the trailer did awaken my interest because the story seems quite interesting. This movie set hundreds of years after the events of War for the Planet of the Apes, which is an interesting idea because it doesn't follow the son of Caesar. It follows an ape called Noah who finds a human who is more intelligent than the others because the others are all basically like apes were before they were intelligent. And he wants to protect that human because it's more intelligent, but the king doesn't really like that. And he, I guess, follows them or something like that. Even though overall I liked the trailer and what kind of story they're trying to make, unfortunately it also looked like the apes are slightly less well animated than in the last movie, but that's also quite difficult to top. Anyway, the director is Wes Ball, and he made the Maze Runner movies, which I liked, but they definitely weren't perfect. The writer is Josh Friedman, and his biggest movie he wrote was War of the Worlds for Steven Spielberg, which I didn't watch, but was generally positively received. So I'm excited for this movie, but I definitely still have some doubts, especially with Wes Ball and obviously just how the apes are slightly less well animated. Anyway, let's go to the 17th of May. If or Imaginary Friends is releasing, and it's a kids movie with the biggest standout of the movie just being John Krasinski is writer and director. He made both A Quiet Place movies. The trailer kind of looked like a mix between Wonka and a Pixar movie, which could be cool in theory, but the trailer really didn't speak to me. But maybe it'll be a surprise hit like Wonka last year. You never know. Ryan Reynolds is playing one of the main characters and will probably play himself once again, which you either like, hate, or are just tired of by now. Steve Carell will also be here as a voice actor for this big purple imaginary friend, which I'm not really convinced that this will work because in the trailer I didn't laugh at any of his jokes. Also, there are a ton of other big actors being voice actors in this movie, like Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, the list goes on and on. This movie could be good because I do trust John Krasinski, but the trailer definitely didn't look like it. Oh, and if you're enjoying this video, it would make me really happy if you subscribe. Now let's come to the 24th of May, and there we have a real big movie, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. The best news to give you about this movie is obviously that George Miller is directing this movie because he has directed and written all other Mad Max movies so far. So, this movie is basically a guaranteed okay to good movie at the least. I like the trailers. Don't get me wrong. But in those trailers, you can also just see that it just looked very similar to Mad Max Fury Road, which Mad Max Fury Road is a masterpiece, or at least so people say, but I don't know if it will work again, because if you have the same as before, just in 2.5 hours, it could get repetitive. But that's just the trailer. Maybe this movie is completely different. On the other hand, though, what did make me excited for this movie is just that the budget of this movie is by far the highest of any of the Mad Max movies, with 240 million without marketing included. So there was enough money around for George Miller to make some epic action sequences. Let's just hope they also put some variation in there, not just always the same car stunts. Now, the last movie that I have on my list is also on the 24th of May, and that's Garfield the movie. I don't really have a lot to say here because, the trailer really didn't speak to me. The animation style in there isn't really anything interesting. It kind of reminded me of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid animated movie from a couple years back. Well, better than that one, but the design of the human characters, come on, looks the same. And the story just didn't look interesting in the trailer. I don't know, I just didn't like it. And I mean, Chris Pratt is speaking Garfield. I mean, why? I don't think he's an overly well fit for the Garfield character. But hey, in the end, if the movie's good, then it doesn't really matter anyways. I think this movie has the biggest chance of being bad out of all of these movies I presented today, because the trailer didn't have anything in it where I got excited or I thought, oh, this is something new. And that isn't a good sign. Which movies in May do you think will be bad and why? Write it down in the comments. To check out if Rebel Moon the Scar Giver may even be better than the first one, click here. Anyway, thanks for watching, please subscribe, and that's been it for today. Bye!